Congratulations on downloading Zend Server. You're about to discover an entirely new level of PHP productivity. Your apps will never be the same again. In a good way, of course. First, package up your apps with Zend Studio or Eclipse PDT or with Zend Server's command line tools. Then, you can use Zend Server to validate prerequisites, run deployment scripts, and automate the deployment process. Already have applications that you'd like to manage with Zend Server? No problem. You can integrate them into the Zend Server Management UI with one simple click, bringing real agility to your IT operations. Either way, now Zend Server is able to give you app-by-app metric dashboards, monitoring, caching, and more. If you use Zend Framework, Symfony, or any other set of library functions and classes, including your own custom libraries, you can use Zend Server to deploy, manage, and update them. Now, you don't have to worry about collisions between different library versions or the hassle of patching libraries inside each app. Instead, you have a set of centrally managed libraries to update in one place. And updating is easy. Zend Server checks to see if new versions of libraries are available and seamlessly plugs them in. Now that your apps are managed by Zend Server, you can make sure that any errors or performance problems are identified. If you're concerned about slow page loads, you can enable a monitoring rule that will identify any slow request execution. Choose which level of event you want to define, specify the parameters that define how long a request can take, and choose what action should be taken when this event is triggered. A particularly useful action is to record a code trace, giving you all the information you need to diagnose the problem. Like the black box data recorder on an airplane, code traces allow you to see what went wrong after the fact. They are triggered by events, though they can also be run manually against a URL. For this code trace, we can see a function-by-function breakdown of the request's PHP execution. Because it was triggered by a slow request execution event, it's particularly useful to note the time elapsed at every step of the way, and sorting by time shows us exactly where in the code the slowdown had occurred. Want to know your application's average response time? How about CPU and memory usage? And not only do you get critical data on back-end performance, you can also see useful information on your users, like browser and operating system distribution, mobile usage, and more. Need to drill in to focus on a specific time range, or to get a processing breakdown of a particular spike in response time? The Zend Server dashboards give you insights you can use. Once you've seen where in your application bottlenecks lie, you can use Zend Server's page caching to vastly improve performance. Specify the URL for caching, either an exact URL or by matching a regular expression. Then add conditions, like values in the session or in cookies. So, for instance, an e-commerce catalog could cache each individual item for sale separately, making sure to fetch fresh page contents based on a logged-in user. And don't worry if you have multiple apps managed by Zend Server that require different caching conditions. Caching rules can be either global or only for specific application. Zend Server's job queue allows you to run PHP scripts asynchronously, removing bottlenecks from your code. You can, for instance, set up a database backup job to run nightly. Just specify the URL of the script to be executed and the schedule. You can also programmatically create jobs from inside your app using the Job Queue API. This allows a task like credit card processing to take place without forcing the user to wait for it to return. And of course you can see the result of all successful or failed jobs and re-queue if necessary. The Zend Server audit trail will let you know if anyone has changed a PHP directive or the configuration of a Zend component, either through the UI, using an API, or even via the file system. Want to be in the loop 24/7? No problem. Configure Zend Server to send you an email for each action performed and tracked. The Zend Server Notification Center will help you to keep up to date with live errors and will point you to the prescribed actions to counter them, making sure the issue is identified quickly and solved painlessly. You fine-tuned and tested staging settings. I would now like to copy them to your production environment. Zend Server allows you to export and import your PHP and system configurations with just a few clicks. In a matter of minutes, the imported settings, including PHP extension directives, Zend component directives, and your customized monitoring and caching rules, will be applied across your cluster. Want to start from a clean slate? Simply reset your configurations. Want to scale up your operation? It's time to create a multi-server cluster. You can either add another server to your new or existing clustered environment, or join your server to another cluster. In either case, once joined or added, the cluster settings will be applied across the board, making sure all servers are following the same orders. Once created, your cluster can easily be scaled up and down from the UI or the supplied CLI tools, ensuring your applications have the firepower they need for maximum performance and availability. Now you're ready to take your PHP applications to the next level. Zend Server gives you the power to make good apps great.